Hi everyone, this is Amateur Gamer. Meganium needed to be level 82 to beat the champion and the Elite Four. It wasn't a terrible Pokemon as its stats were solid. Once again, this grass type had limited move pool, which really hurts it when it comes to putting those stats to good use. Next up is Feraligatr, and I feel this Pokemon is going to fare better, as we'll see once we look at its moves. As a kid, I really liked the look of Feraligatr because it was basically a badass alligator. Feraligatr's leveling up moves are alright and mostly useful early on. Water Gun is nice against Brock, while Bite can flinch. Slash can be decent if you're lucky. I haven't warmed up to Hydro Pump, so there aren't any moves I'm quite excited about when Feraligatr levels up. Where this alligator shines is its TMs and HMs. Surf is without a doubt the best water type move available to Feraligatr, while it also has moves like Brick Break, Earthquake, and Ice Beam for coverage. Stat-wise, Feraligatr is weaker in the special department, with its strength mostly being attack and defense. Surprisingly, Feraligatr's base speed is actually lower than Meganium, though not by much. Overall, it's a well-rounded, and the run will show whether the lower special stats, especially special attack, will impact how this will play out. The first rival fight was nothing worth mentioning. The better stats of Feraligatr meant a few scratches were enough to make Bulbasaur faint. Brock was defeated by 2 Water Guns. Misty didn't get any confusion with Water Pulse, so that was an easy win too. It wasn't until the second rival fight that things get tougher. Pidgeotto as always was a threat due to set attack. Otherwise, it really struggles to get past Feraligatr's defense. Bulbasaur had Leech Seed that puts a timer on the fight, and Vine Whip hits surprisingly hard. This fight took a few tries, but eventually I got one where Pidgeotto didn't use set attack, and Feraligatr got a critical hit bite, while it also dodged the Leech Siege from Bulbasaur. The third rival fight was a tricky one as well. Ivysaur now has Sleep Powder and it wasn't afraid to use it. Feraligatr also didn't have a way of one-shotting the Ivysaur other than getting a critical hit dig. I taught Feraligatr dig to help it deal with the Bulbasaur line and electric types. My first attempt against my rival on the SSN got very lucky after a very unlucky start. Pidgeotto got a set attack off, so that's normally bad news in itself. Ivysaur then put Feraligatr to sleep, and it took 5 turns for Feraligatr to wake up and finish off Ivysaur with only 18 HP left. I got a much needed flinch eradicate with Bite, though I was expecting a quick attack from it. Bite was lucky enough to make Kadabra faint, because I'm not sure if 18 HP was enough against a confusion. Surge was then defeated by 3 digs. The Erica fight does have me worried, as I don't have any good tools against grass types with their status inflictions and more bulkiness than electric types. Dig would have been only super effective against Victory Bell and Vileplume, and even then I doubt they can be taken out easily, especially if they use moves like Giga Drain. My first attempt against Erica went well with Victory Bell, where I got a flinch and the Cherry Berry Feraligatr held cured the paralysis from the Stun Spore. Tangela got a poison powder off before it fainted. Vileplume then secured victory as Giga Drain and poison was too much for Feraligatr to handle. My second attempt against Erica went better. The Victory Bell fight happened in a different order, with Stun Spore first turn and flinch from Bite for the second turn. Tangela went Giga Drain this time, and it did hardly anything compared to the poison damage I took in the first attempt. 2 slashes took out Vileplume, and this was made possible because it went and missed the Stun Spore. Without the poison, I still think Feraligatr could have pulled out the victory even if Vileplume used Giga Drain. Then I headed to the Rocket hideout and fought Giovanni. His Onix and Rhyhorn fell to Water Gun easily. Don't ask me why I didn't teach Feraligatr Water Pulse, which is clearly a better water type move. Anyways, Kangaskhan was quite lucky as it got a critical hit Fake Out and a critical hit Mega Punch that dropped Feraligatr down to 42 HP. The fight was much closer than I would have liked, but hopefully my opponents won't be getting so many crits for a while. Slash was a great move to have on Feraligatr, and it really showed in the rival fight in the Pokemon Tower, where it helped me deal with Pidgeotto and Ivysaur with ease, though the higher level also helped. Shortly after, I then faced my rival in Silph Co, and that fight was tough. Prior to this fight, I actually went to Fuchsia City to get Surf on Feraligatr for a powerful water type move. Venusaur's Razor Leaf was too much during the first attempt as it mopped the floor with Feraligatr. I then remembered that I didn't have Feraligatr hold leftovers and did that for the second attempt. Pidgeot used Wing Attack, so no Sand Attack. Then, Venusaur used Sleep Powder and Feraligatr fainted before I can wake up. A few more attempts later, I got one with the Pidgeot using Wing Attack before I fainted. Venusaur was up to his sleeping shenanigans, but Feraligatr woke up and made Venusaur faint with 35 HP left. Gyarados got Feraligatr down to 7 HP with Dragon Rage, but thankfully a critical hit slash made sure that Gyarados couldn't get another attack off. Growlithe fell to a single Surf, and Alakazam handed me a win by going for Future Sight against a Feraligatr with only 34 HP. That victory was indeed a nail-biter. Surf made the Giovanni fight at Silphco an ease, as it's either super effective or hits like a literal truck. Slash was my go-to move against Sabrina's Psychic type, and Surf washed away Venomoth. I dare not use Bite, as I'm pretty sure their high special defense will make it weaker than a Slash. Then I fought Koga, who I tried fighting earlier but failed. Muk was too tanky against special attacks, and at a lower level, Feraligatr Slash doesn't hit hard enough. After winning at Silphco and beating Sabrina, Feraligatr can reliably two-shot Muk, while Surf easily dealt with the other Pokemon. Speaking of Surf, 4 of them were all that was needed to beat Blaine. No Fire Blast from him this time. The battle for the last badge was no different from the Blaine fight, as spamming Surf easily got me the win. I'm actually surprised that Giovanni didn't keep his Kangaskhan, because that Pokemon can actually be a problem with the right moves. I know it doesn't have ground typing, but Venomoth wasn't a Psychic type and Sabrina used it. Anyways, we then move on to my rival fight before the Elite Four, and it was honestly the easiest one so far. I taught Feraligatr Ice Beam, which it one-shotted the Pidgeot with and froze Venusaur. Rhyhorn was easily taken care of with Surf, and Gyarados got hit by a critical hit Slash, which meant it fainted after taking 2 hits. Growlithe and Alakazam both posed no threat to Feraligatr. Prior to fighting the Elite Four, I did some grinding in Victory Road for more rare candy and PP up. I wanted to get more PP for both Surf and Ice Beam. I also taught Feraligatr Brick Break just for lower life fight, since a super effective move would be nice against her water/ice type Pokemon. If any of you watch my Articuno run, you'll know that lacking super effective moves against these bulky Pokemon is rough. Brick Break two-shotted both Dewgong and Cloyster, while Slash was enough to beat Slowbro. Given Feraligatr's bulk, none of those Pokemon could do anything to it anyways. A critical hit Brick Break helped me avoid the scenario where Jinx puts Feraligatr to sleep, and even Lapras fell to 2 Brick Breaks. Honestly, Brick Break is a very useful move that sadly will only see action in the first Elite Four fight. The Bruno fight was basically Feraligatr having so much bulk that, even without a good idea of whether I should use Slash, Surf, or Ice Beam, I can win it. Machamp could have posed a problem if his cross shot got critical hits, but with no luck this time, it and Bruno were defeated. For Agatha, I taught Feraligatr Earthquake and replaced Brick Break. While the move isn't useful against her 3 ghost types and Golbat, I still saw value if I could deal with Arbok more easily. My first attempt failed because Feraligatr hit itself from confusion due to Gengar using Confuse Ray first, and then the Gengar used Toxic, which Feraligatr couldn't outrace. The second attempt saw Gengar using Double T, which didn't prevent it from getting hit by a second Surf. It fainted before it can inflict any status effects on Feraligatr. Ice Beam apparently can one-shot Golbat if it hits the upper damage range, and that's what happened during the second attempt. Arbok got a screech off before it fainted to 2 Earthquakes. Agatha's second Gengar put Feraligatr to sleep, but thankfully Feraligatr woke up fairly quickly and to my surprise made the Gengar faint with only 2 Surfs. I had expected Gengar's decent special defense and the Citrus Berry would let it take 3 Surfs, but I will take it. Haunter wasn't even worth mentioning at this point. My first attempt fighting Lance revealed all the factors that would ensure a loss. Gyarados got back-to-back critical hits, one on the Bite and one on Hyper Beam. Even with its bulk, Feraligatr wasn't going to handle critical Hyper Beam too well. The second Dragonair lived on a sliver of HP and used Thunder Wave, paralyzing Feraligatr. A slower Feraligatr with around half health might as well be a death sentence, especially with paralysis now and then along with Hyper Beams coming its way. The fact that it reached the Aerodactyl was a miracle, and had Aerodactyl missed its Hyper Beam and Feraligatr landed Surf, then I would have pulled off an incredible victory. That didn't happen. My second attempt felt like the opposite, with Feraligatr opening off with a critical hit Slash. The second slash got Gyarados very low, and since Gyarados used a Hyper Beam that turn, it had to recharge and cannot be healed with a full restore. Both Dragonnairs were one-shotted, so no paralysis to deal with. Dragonite was also one-shotted, and Aerodactyl got off a Wing Attack before Surf finished it off. Amazing how paralysis made the biggest difference here. The time to challenge the champion has arrived, and Feraligatr was only level 68. I do have rare candies, so if necessary, I could raise this level. However, I want to see for myself if this badass alligator can beat Gary at his current level. 2 Ice Beams took out Pidgeot, but more importantly, the Pidgeot used Aerial Ace and not Sand Attack or Feather Dance. Venusaur was up next and it went Growth first. The Ice Beam dealt about half of Venusaur's health, but Citrus healed it back above 50%. I then went Earthquake that got it to red. At that point, Venusaur started storing power, which gave me the opening to finish it off. 2 Pokemon down and 4 to go. Alakazam was up next. It did a big chunk of damage and was faster. Luckily, a single Earthquake knocked it out. Rhydon fell to a single Surf, but then Gyarados came out. Gyarados got Feraligatr down to 72 HP after leftovers, which I hope was enough against Arcanine's extreme speed. Of course, Arcanine got a critical hit extreme speed that got Feraligatr down to 5 HP. Surf knocked Arcanine out and it was over. That was an incredible run. Feraligatr was dominant in a lot of areas, and even the losses I experienced were due to it being lower level with all the optional battles I skipped. More importantly, Feraligatr was only level 69 when it won the run. Zapdos was level 66, but I had to rely on Double Team to win at that level. In many ways, Feraligatr felt like the superior Pokemon. The run never felt too challenging, and the movesets were great in terms of coverage. Compared to Meganium, Feraligatr got more love in terms of what's available to it. Something tells me that Typhlosion isn't going to come close to challenging Feraligatr's performance, but we'll see about that when I get to the Typhlosion run. That's it for the video. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and maybe even subscribe. Thank you.